Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Poddy. Today I'm just going to be answering some questions that I regularly get in the DMs. So I'm just kind of going to take it away, see where we flow. But I'm going to start off with probably the most common one, which is business related. How do you monetize your passions? How do you begin? What are some good ways to get opportunities for yourself? And yeah, so basically I've always just taken photos. I've always been inspired by photography. My dad was a photographer. He took beautiful photos. And yeah, he always inspired me to just pick up a camera and just document everything. So yeah, I guess I just started out with a average little camera, just shooting and editing anything I could, just teaching myself. And then yeah, I've just kind of kept it up ever since. And then I guess the best bit of advice Dad ever gave me is to find what you're most consistent with, to find what you're most passionate about, and to monetize it. So that always stayed in the back of my mind when I was kind of like head deep in like a shitty degree that I didn't want to be in. Like that just kept coming back to me. And once I ridded myself of any sort of pressure, because it's just like the only pressure that matters is the pressure you level yourself. Yeah, so I've never really felt like uni was really in line with the way I learn. I'm more of a like visual, hands-on kind of learner, and which is kind of funny that I did a bit of a psychology, criminology degree, because it's like I just remember being there and not wanting to be there, looking up at the sky being so blue, it being sunny, it being high tide, and just thinking I'm not ever coming back here again. I'm going to disappoint the parents, but I just can't do this. It's not me. And then I decided that, and then yeah, I decided to stop putting pressure on myself. I decided that the only pressure that was important was the pressure I level myself. So I was like, let's take that out of the equation. Mum and Dad will understand eventually. Because I think back in that day, like that was the avenue that they'd probably want me to take. But yeah, it ain't me. So basically, yeah, always shot. And then about 3 years ago, I decided to go full freelance because I just really wanted the freedom. I didn't want to have to work for somebody. I wanted lifestyle over anything. I wanted to be able to have an average where you can just be like, oh, it's all right, I'm going to put the lappy away and just like focus on how I feel. And yeah, I didn't want to be tied down to anything. I wanted to be able to go travel when I wanted to, or, you know, see a friend midweek or whatever it is. I want things to be like changeable, basically. Yeah, I just wanted things to be malleable. So yeah, I decided then and there to just make it happen, to just like start chipping away at it anyway. Yeah, before I started working for myself, I was doing a bit of content creation stuff for a swimwear company, which was sick. Like it just gave me a lot of tools and taught me what I wanted to do, taught me what I didn't want to do. And that's kind of what you need to be doing to get in the game, I guess, like being immersed in some sort of strain of it. So yeah, being immersed in some sort of strain of creative expression. I think working for like big brands like that can be really good for your skills, of course. Yeah, working for big brands like that it just expands your knowledge, expands your skills, and yeah, you get to just see the way in which their business works and what you like, what you don't like, what you want to take into your business. And yeah, it was really definitely beneficial for me. But I've always loved working. From the age of like 11, I remember walking into the newsagent and just being like, can I work here? And then being like, yes. And from there, I just like hopped to different jobs just because I loved people and I loved making money, and I was good at making money. I just always found that like the act of making money was the fun part. And then once I had the money, I was like, how else am I going to make the money? It's funny. Honey. But yeah, that's basically the extent of that. A lot of people ask me how to start out, and the best way is just to shoot. Like you don't need a sick camera, you don't need anything. You can shoot on an iPhone, you can film on an iPhone, like you can edit on iMovie. It's like all the tools are at your fingertips. It's not an expensive thing. Like the inspiration it's outside, it's everywhere. It's on Pinterest, it's in mags, it's just like it's in your day-to-day, it's in your mind. Like, yeah, I think I'm seeing a bit of a theme of like the wheel not really being reinvented, and I think it's like extremely important to put your own spin on everything, to just be like quite clearly going against the grain as much as humanly possible, so that you kind of stand out, and that so you're still just in line with your own ethos, basically. Like my ethos is, when working with brands, I want to build rapport. I want it to be like a personable experience. I want to be able to be myself. And yeah, I just want to have fun while creating a story for a brand or whatever. So I've been extremely lucky, we'll call it luck, extremely lucky with the clients that I've attracted. Like it's been kind of crazy to watch, because it's like, it's a steamroll. Is that what they call it? A steamroll effect? Like you work for Suzanne, and then Suzanne tells Beryl about you, and then Beryl tells Johnny, and then next minute it's like kind of just like you're getting little bits and bobs and things from everywhere, which is cool. And yeah, it's like if you really want it, it works out. It will work. It just takes consistency. It takes grunt. It's not for the faint-hearted. Like you very much have to be like disciplined and clear with what it is that you want to like attract and what you don't want to work with as well, and who you don't really want to work for. I think in the initial stages, it's kind of good to just take any single opportunity you can possibly get. But yeah, later down the line, it's cool to be able to be like, that doesn't align. I don't want to do it. It's commercial. That makes my brain hurt. But no, I've done my fair share of like weddings and like corporate events and things like that. And they just, honestly, I just like I fall asleep. I want to fall asleep on the job, because it's just like, this is cold. No, it's not. It's perfect. So yeah, getting kind of intentional with who you want to attract in. But yeah, before all that, I think the best way to go about it is to put yourself out there, to reach out to any sort of creative who you click with, if you like their work or their message or anything like that, just asking them if there's any sort of assist jobs, or yeah, if you can catch up with them for a coffee or whatever and pick their brain. Because yeah, I think more often than not, people look quite willing to help other people in the game, unless they're gatekeeping, which is kind of weird. I do see that a little bit. I've seen that a lot in the past, actually. Even when I was starting out, I'd send emails and people would just be like a little bit just like, I'm better than you attitude. But then a couple of years later, they'd want to work with me. So, but yeah, I think, yeah, putting yourself out there as much as possible, taking any sort of opportunity and doing it with energy as well, doing it excitedly, putting your best foot forward, actually listening. And it's like so often you get like an assistant on and it's like they don't even want to be there, and then you're just like, there are so many people asking for an opportunity to be on set or to be part of the creative process. And it's like, if you want it, put yourself out there, and it'll happen, it'll flow. But you just got to keep chipping, and it's like, believe it, feel it, and then and action things, obviously, and let the universe do the rest, because if it's meant for you, it'll come. But yeah, I had a few questions from people asking me, how do I get out of like a creative block, or when the ideas aren't flowing, do I have any practices or anything like that? And I guess when it's not flowing for me, I just take time away. It's just like, I've pushed so much in the past, and it's just like, whatever comes out, I'm just not frothing it. So now it's like, the creativity or the expression or whatever it is just seems to flow for me. Like, it seems to be quite consistent. To me, it's a muscle you kind of flex as well. It's like sometimes you need to put the hard word down on yourself and just like make it happen, get out there, do it. But sometimes it's about stepping back, going for a little stroll to the beach, having a dip, and just like refreshing and getting back into it. Or sometimes it's like a month spell where you're just like, oh, I just like don't even want to pick up my camera. I don't want to do anything like that. But again, what I said about inspiration and re-inspiring yourself, it's like, pick up a book, have a scroll on Pinny, like just walk outside, look down, look up, look to the side. Like there's ideas in conversations, there's ideas in your dreams, there's ideas in the shower. Like they're literally everywhere. A friend of mine years ago just kind of taught me how to just like see things, how to like look at things and just see little quirky moments. And it's just like, it changed the way I just like look at the world. Just basically trying to find quirk in the world, wherever I can find it on any corner is like the motive. But yeah, it's funny, I'm in like, it's like photo and video is working quite well and things are flowing and I don't feel like overrun at the moment. But I'm sort of starting to reevaluate and ask myself what's inspiring me the most. And it's funny, it's starting to mold more into like writing and like expression and connection. And yeah, I'm feeling like invigorated by writing and sharing, and then writing and not sharing, and then the idea of potentially heading into more like teaching meditations and yogas and just, yeah, doing a few million different things that warm the heart basically. But yeah, this photo and video will always be a thing. I just adore story, and I like the fact that in my work, it's never, a lot of the stuff isn't curated. Like a lot of it is just what's going down. It's just like, it's a natural flow. And that's, yeah, truly my favorite part about like the weddings that I do and things like that. It's not just like this cringy ass couple walking down the aisle. Like it's like you get to actually, they just let me do what I want to do, let me capture the love the way that I see it. And it's just an honor to be able to take people's ideas and then, yeah, put my own little spinny do on them. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about how to attract things in, and the practices that I do to attract them in, like whether it's work that you want, friendships, relationships, health, like the practices that I do to ensure that I'm kind of, sounds fucking weird, but to ensure that it's going to come when it's ready to arrive. Because again, what's meant for you won't miss you. But yeah, my practices are pretty like, I guess I'm quite a disciplined person. I know what feels good. I know that the more you flex a muscle, the more it becomes a thing. It's like, I don't know, it just becomes a part of you doing these little practices. Like I write every day because I love it. I go to yoga every day because I can't miss it. And I feel my body getting stronger. I feel my mind getting stronger, and it's community. And it's like, you get so much out of it. It's like, hey, it blows my mind. Like even in the darker moments of my life, like the strength that I found in myself in yoga practices was enough to just like get me through, to just like rebuild the energy, to cleanse. Like I've cried on the mat 100 times. I've lied on the mat from like the start of the class to the end of the class and haven't done the class. I've like done the strongest practices in the last week that I think I've ever done while going through a bit of a testing period, I guess. But yeah, you never walk out of that place feeling worse than when you walked in, that's for sure. I've been absolutely gatekeeping where I go to yoga because I love the fact that it's not like one of those Goldie-based yoga places where everyone comes in and they're taking selfies in the mirror. And it's like, this one, it's like you walk in, you feel nurtured. It's just like, it's just so welcoming and lovely and dim lit, and just like, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's just anything you need it to be. It's like the best yoga studio. And I decided last week that I wouldn't gatekeep it anymore because a really good friend of mine owns it now, and I need her business to thrive as much as possible, because what she's doing is just, it's phenomenal. Her heart is just like so big. It's fucking, God, it's huge. But yeah, I go to Wave Yoga in Kingy, and they do just a shitload of different classes, hot classes, cold classes, Pilates, sound bowl, all the goods. And there's a huge timetable. So if you want to live a better life, I highly recommend starting with that because it's brilliant. Another thing that I really recommend is clean water. Well, what are our bodies, like 70% water, and we're sitting here drinking tap water that's got all these heavy ass metals in it. Not good. So yeah, clean water hydrates, nourishes, cleanses the liver. It's, yeah, we are water, so why do we drink metal? But other than that, again, I'm going to preach good, healthy quality. I'm going to preach good food because people are like, it's so expensive and I can't afford it and stuff. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just like, you don't want to have a lack mentality around the most important things in this life. Like, if you're not feeding your body the things it needs, like, how do you expect it to support you? It's just like, I don't know, to me, going to Coles and stuff, it's like, first, the energy at Coles and Woolies is just dank. Like, I'm hard out trying to fucking get someone to smile at me. Yeah, I don't really back it. Whereas you go to the markets and it's just like community again, and like old mates giving you like free broccoli here, and then you just visit the apple man and you get your blueberries, and you know, there's the dairy farmer that just does everything that she does with love. And yeah, it's just such an experience, such a grounding experience. But yes, always preaching that. Another daily practice is just like, yeah, again, I'm preaching this all the time, but getting in tune with your breath. It's this really easy, simple breath. It's like 2 in and 1 out. It's like they call it the anti-anxiety breath because it's just like, it brings you back into a bit of a state of equilibrium quite quickly. So it's like breath work with Cap. But yeah, that's a good one. Another red hot tip. I also wanted to talk about, yeah, again, going back to how to attract things in. It's really important to be clear about what you want, what your needs are, how you want to feel, how you want people to feel around you. So it comes back to that journaling thing, being clear. These are the clients that I want to attract. These are the people I want to attract. I want to feel like this. I want them to feel like this. Like, it's getting clear, it's getting intentional. It's like, how do you expect to attract it when you're not being clear about it? And it's like, write that list, then become that list as well. It's, I can't believe what I've attracted just from being clear with what I want. Like, one of my favorite things I've managed to wrangle in is my housemate. I remember just like sitting out the front under the tree on this blanket, writing this list and being like, this is my ideal housemate. Bring her in when I'm ready. I'm just so excited. I'm not in a rush. Like, I wrote just like someone that's happy within themselves, someone that's got like not a huge footprint. They're just, they respect the house. Like, just this plethora of things that I wanted. Just like, not big ass, but just, you know, someone clean, someone that knows how to fucking sweep. Someone that's not just going to always be like coming into my space when I'm like focused. And yeah, what do you know, like, attract the coolest chick. It's like, and it's become like even more than what I asked for. Like, we actually have a relationship. We can chat about like just what's going on, and our lives are just like, we just live so, we're just so in line. It's like, we just so happen to like never be cooking at the same time or never be sharing at the same time or whatever it is. It's like, it just flows super well. And then I got even more than what I bargained for. So that one's really cool. I just say thank you all the time because it's like having a cruddy housemate. Just really, it ain't it. I've had some lemons in my time. God, I've had some lemons. I've had a couple of real cool people too, and some really funny people, but she definitely hits where it feels the best. So that one's cool. Yeah, I remember starting out and getting like my first job, or first couple of jobs, I just volunteered anyway and traded content for product and things like that. I still do when I'm passionate about the product that's being sold or the ethos, or I like the person and they're passionate and all that. I definitely like to still, yeah, to get on board. Another really cool thing in the work department that's, I like to really look back on like where I started out in the photo video world, like basically starting out and doing everything for trades, like content for product and things like that. And then, you know, first job I got paid like $200 and I was like, yes. And then a couple of years later, I remember getting hit up by Southern Comfort to do a job, and that was 4K, and I was just like, holy shit. And my brother was just like, next is 10K, and I was like, wow. And then a couple of years later, I remember just sitting down and just being like, all right, I want a big client. Like if it's corporate, that's cool, whatever it is. I'd just really love to get a little bit of a head start, get a couple pennies in the bank. And, you know, sometimes it takes a lot of energy doing like heaps of different small jobs here and there. Sometimes it's just nice to be focused on one big scale job. And like a couple of months later, bang, like this alcohol brand hits me up, and it's just like, this is our budget, and it's 20K. We want you to just like go out west with your mates and take the motos, and it's all expenses paid. And I just, honestly, for 7 months, because it happened at the end of last year, and then I just went in June for 7 months, I seriously every day was just like, how the fuck did that happen? And it's like, I was just so grateful, and the gratitude breeds gratitude. So it's like, you feel that feeling, and it's basically signaling to the universe that you're ready for more, because yeah, that's how it works. Like that's how manifestation works. It's like thinking it, feeling it, leaving the rest up to the gods, as they say. But yeah, that's just such an epic thing. I think you can do that stuff with health. You can be like, this is how I want to feel. I want my cycles to be better. I don't want to have to torture myself every time I get my period. Like, but yeah, I think in every aspect of life, you can get clear, you can get intentional about what you'd like. And if it's something that's going to just benefit the world, it's going to benefit you. I wanted to talk about a few little things on the topic of health, things that have helped me with like my skin, digestion, and just all around, I guess, like brain function and things like that. Number one thing I recommend that has absolutely like changed my life is acupuncture. But not just any acupuncture, like it's Alistair and Ree from Being Acupuncture in Cooley. They're just like top of the crop, like phenomenal human beings, hilarious, just like so switched on, so in tune. Like they've just got such a good balance of everything that you'd want from a practitioner. And it's like, it's a personable experience, but then you're getting so much out of it. Like it's just marvelous. Like my body has just, I need to sit up better. Need to sit up straight. My body's just been functioning. Like I've noticed just since I've been going to see them. Well, I see Alistair, but yeah, I've noticed just like such major shifts in everything since going, because it's like acupuncture works on like meridians, and it's just like all energy based, and sometimes like the flow of chi energy gets blocked up in places from just day-to-day life and emotions, and I guess even just like sports and things like that. So it's like you go to see them, they give you a little top up, you walk out with just so much pep in your step. Like they've seen me in every single phase, let me tell you. But yeah, I wouldn't back them more. I'd definitely invest, forever investing in that, because it's like, again, I see a lot of people not putting pennies towards health, and I'm like, if we don't have health, what do we have? You got people just being like, oh, I can't afford to see a kinesiologist, or I can't afford to like go to the naturopath and that. And it's like, just make it possible. Like ask for it for your birthday, or like provide a service that you can swap. Like I swap everything. Like I swap yoga for video, I swap acupuncture for video, like swap hair for video. Sometimes it's just like everything you want, you can just make it happen. You just have to get creative with it. It's like I don't spend a lot of money, but I just spend money on just what's important. And to me, what's like most important, again, like I've said, is like water, good food, exercise, flowers. I'm so happy to spend pennies on flowers. But my hot tip for you, if you want to buy flowers from Woolies, is to get the most expensive, beautiful bunch, usually $40, did it this morning. And then you go to the reduced flowers, get the $5 sticker, pop the $5 sticker on the $40 bunch, and you're laughing. So yes, I've been doing that for like 3 years and haven't been caught. Touch the wood. But yeah, that's another thing that I dig. Something else that's been extremely revolutionary in my skin journey, because I used to have pretty hectic skin when I was depresso back in the day, which maybe I'll get to. Maybe I'll touch on that. But yeah, this recently in the past couple of years has been really helping me. It's following a diet that's just mainly protein and fats, obviously good protein, good fats, and kind of taking a little step away from carbs. Like, I love good bread and pastas and things like that, but yeah, again, they become they're in moderation, because it's like, I'm not the techiest person with this stuff, but it's like carbs spike blood sugar levels, which it directly impacts your mood. It's like you feel that crash after sugar. Like, we've all felt it. It's like if you're eating foods like proteins and fats, it's like it's steady energy instead of just like, and then you don't want that, because it's like it affects everything. It affects brain health, it affects hormones, and we don't really need that. Like, everything affects us. We're such like sensitive beings. Like, if you can make these small little changes, honestly, like the changes that I've seen have been just like brilliant in terms of mostly skin, digestion, but energy. Like, being able to do like the strongest kind of yoga practices, like as I'm getting my period, it's like that would never have been a thing before. Like, I used to just have to just like really rest. But if you're eating well and drinking good water and, you know, having your time to yourself, having your time with your people, and like, you know, I guess flowing with your cycle, there's no reason why you can't still thrive when you have your period. But this isn't a period chat potty, so I'm going to start. Maybe I'll get a naturopath on or something, and we'll chat about that, because I love it. But yeah, that is something that's really benefited everything. The Glucose Goddess on Insta is really cool. She's got a book, and she basically talks about like what food to eat with what food to eat in what order, so that you get less spikes, and so then you can eat that cake. And it's like, you still want to be able to have it. You don't want it to be restrictive in any way, because it's just not good for your head. But if you're living like, go away. If you're looking for something that's like going to give you extra energy, I highly recommend eating like that, because it's like, you can find so much info on it, but it's becoming more and more of a thing. And what I've noticed is just clearer thinking, clearer brain function, and just truly a better life. But yeah, another really cool tip from the Glucose Goddess chick is to have, well, people are going to hate this, but it's like, it's fucking science. Having a little swiggy lala of apple cider vinegar before any carb heavy meal, or any meal for that matter, because it spikes your blood sugar levels around 30% less, depending, obviously variables. But it's like, if you can help those crashes to not be so intense, like, why wouldn't you? I just think, yeah, always just have that, bang, smack it out. And it's made my skin has just been like, yeah, just loving it. So I think people who have been through skin issues understand the confidence thing. Like, you got average skin, it's hard to just be super confident. You feel like there's something inside you that's not working optimally, and yeah, you feel like it's a reflection in the end of what's going on internally. And I just wouldn't wish bad skin upon anyone. But if you do want to regulate like your hormones or whatever it is, again, go to acupuncture, suss that diet out, because it's like, it's not a diet, but it's like, it's just a little lifestyle, and you can just have so much. Like, you can have just like everything in moderation. But yeah, it's cool. I'm fucking frothing over it. My nails are like a lot stronger. My hair's growing quick, and yeah, basically I'm fucking on top of y'all. I'm better than everyone, so, because I drink apple cider vinegar. Another big tip that I have is to just consistently be seeking knowledge, because it's everywhere. It's like literally on every corner, just like inspiration. It's like, pick up books, pick up potties, like start conversations. There is an answer like waiting for you. It's like in stillness there is an answer, in books there is an answer. Like all of it has got you if you just go and look for it, you know. But yeah, maybe I'll talk about my favorite books or books that have been a revolutionary read. Any of Michael Singer's books are brilliant, like The Untethered Soul and The Surrender Experiment are two that completely shifted something within me, or plenty of things within me, that made me just be like, oh, I'm going to leave that behind. I'm going to adapt this into my life. So I'll just, I guess, write those below. Like, I feel like another book that I really liked, or any of Joe Dispenza's books, are fucking minty fresh as well, super practical, hands-on. But you notice, like, if you read the book, you notice that you can just like practice what he's talking about. And every time I go to talk, old mate just goes but it's right, it's not the crackhead neighbors that used to be there, so I'm all right with it. But yeah, Joe Dispenza's books, amazing. His podcast is sick too. What's he got? There's a couple of books, I'll write them below. There's the Placebo one and something about something. Another book that I really liked, or there was a couple of books by Joe Dispenza that I loved. I'll write them below. He's just like, the way he teaches is just like so inspiring, and again, hands-on, which I love, and practical. You notice changes like almost immediately from what he kind of tells you to do. It's like, it's about rewiring your brain just to live a fruitier life. It's about, you know, we have the power to like change our own DNA, which blows my mind. Like, yeah, his stuff's like incredible. His podcasts are also brilliant too. But it's that thing, the nerve cells that wire together fire together. So we got to be really careful with what thoughts we're sowing, like, because they're like boomerangs. They come back. Like, it's just a cycle. We think the same thoughts as yesterday, and then we expect that there's going to be different results. It's like, change nothing and continue with immaculate consistency. Like, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, Joe Dispenza, minty fresh. Yeah, I'm reading Rick Rubin's book. I think it's The Creative Way of Being or something like that. It's good. It's like, it's a simple read. It's very simple. It surprised me actually how simple it is. But yeah, some really, really good reminders in there about how to just live creatively, even just in going to your shop, like going to do your shopping or whatever. It's just like, there are ways to harness just like a creative way of living. So I really back him. I think he's amazing, and yeah, he's so sure of himself, which is something that I love. But I recommend that book. Yeah, I guess anything, I don't know how to say it in English. Mum always says écartole in French, écartole. His books are also brilliant. Like, you would have heard of A New Earth and fuck, what's the other one? I simply cannot remember. The Power of Now, lol. Also, they were hard reads though. Like, I picked those up when I was like 18, and I was just like, these concepts are really just, they're a lot to grasp, but now it just makes a lot more sense. Anything Ram Dass, I'm getting into him a lot at the moment, or this year, because yeah, his stuff's so cool. I love when, like, I guess just like these teachers, they can take the piss out of themselves, or they just take the piss, but then they're giving you these like insane, like these insane bits of information that can completely change your life. I love when they like feed you the info with metaphors as well. It's like, it's the coolest thing ever. It's just, you can just remember the little story and then reapply it to your life. So I love Ram Dass, and yeah, if there's anything I think of, I'll put it down below as well. But yeah, book that changed my life the most, honestly, is this book. Oh, I can't even fucking remember the name of the prick. Oh, it's such a good read. I'm just going to write a list of my favorite books below, and I won't talk about them all because that's not what we came here for. I wanted to give a couple of tips of the week, things that I've been frothing out on or things that have inspired me. My friend Jordan Cousins does this thing called Calm Club, which is, yeah, it's so wholesome. It's like ice baths and meditations, and then he does a bit of like movement and body work and things like that. And he's just like, he's such a good person, and he's just like kind of made to facilitate. So I'll link his stuff below. Done some cool breathwork things. Like, I didn't bloody know I could hold my breath for like 2.5 minutes or whatever it was, or 1.5 minutes. I reckon that's psychotic. So cool. But yeah, he's a really good teacher. Obviously Alistair and Ree from the Acupuncture place, the yoga joint. I wanted to talk a little bit about addiction and vices because I find that topic to be quite interesting. Yeah, I think we live in a bit of a society that is quite attached to their phones, which honestly, it breaks my heart some days just being at my local coffee joint and you see like the mother and daughter hanging out and the mum's just like on her phone and the daughter just is sitting there just occupying herself, and it's like, we are not guaranteed another day. It's like, let's be present with each other. Like, these phones, they're like built to just like engulf you, and they're built like crack so that we get obsessed with them. Like, if we can consciously just put them away, consciously, like when you're going to coffee, leave it. Like, when I go to coffee, I always leave my phone in the car, and then stupid shit happens and I'm always just like, wait, Jill, give me your phone so I can take photos of it. But it's like, if you're consciously just making decisions, I'm not going to take my phone into Woolies, I'm not going to touch my phone in the morning, like scrolling in bed and stuff like that. Every now and then I think it's cool to just, I can be like, oh, I want to watch some shit in bed, whatever. But if it's an everyday thing, first thing you're doing, getting on your phone, your brain is just going like, it's crying. Like, you're setting yourself up in a way for failure, because it's like your brain's just like immediately stimulated by that. And it's just like, imagine if you started your day with like a few deep breaths or just, I don't know, anything. But yes, that's just my opinion. No judgment if you're a phone whore. That's cool. We've all been through it. I definitely have. Another really good thing I've let go of is smoking vapies. I just like noticed my mental health was just like plummeting, just going like I couldn't think clearly. My work productivity was just like at an all-time low, and I was just like uninspired. And I think later down the line they're gonna fucking find some crazy ass studies, but it's like no judgment. I still chuff on them when a mate has one, and I'm still like it when I'm just have a little chuffy lala. But like when you're sucking those things and when you lose it, your heart sinks. You're like, where is my vape? Like, that's when you know that thing needs to be locked up and you need to put the hardware down on yourself, because those things are so addictive and they're made to be addictive. It's like, it's instant dopamine, which is like not what you want. Like, we don't want to be craving dopamine all the time, because it's like, dopamine, I think, is instead of seeking dopamine and pleasure and things like that, I think it's more important, more beneficial, easier said than done, to just try and seek peace. But yes, I couldn't recommend getting off the vapes more, because I've just noticed such a big difference. Obviously, you can just breathe better as well. I was like constantly like stuffy and just not feeling a million buckaroonies. But yeah, I still definitely love to have a little marijuana every now and then. I'm not a marijuana lazy girl, but I just think it's such a good tool to tune into just like cool things that are happening in your brain, cool ideas. I think it brings about presence. I think, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and condone drugs, but I am going to sit here and condone some level of drug taking in a good headspace. A lot of ideas that I've had have definitely been under the influence of the greenery. So yeah, I back it in a good headspace, and you got to get the good shit too if you need. I'm absolutely here if you need. Nah, I don't sell weed. I'll probably do like these little spills every now and then when I can't get another fiddy on the potty. I'm gonna end this now. Thank you for watching and listening to me spit shit in different accents. I honestly sometimes don't even notice that I talk in these weird little accents, and then someone is just like, oh, you're talking in that accent again. Or I love when you talk in that accent. I'm just like, what? It's like, it's a brain glitch. But we're all a little bit on the spectrum anyway. If there's any topics that you would like me to touch on in the future, hit me up in the DMs and I'll get it going. Big love. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your feedback. These are going to get better as the days go on. But for the moment, it's just a fun thing to do. Get chatting, get people on, have some tea, you know what it is. But yeah, thank you.